late breaking. This is WALB News 10 with breaking news now.
And we are following breaking news happening right now in Americus. Within the hour, law enforcement surrounding a home where accused police shooter Minquel Limbrick was believed to have been barricaded inside on Allen Street and MLK Boulevard. And just a few minutes ago, we've learned a body was found inside that home, and it may be that of the shooter.
Now, this is coming 24 hours since police say Limbrick fatally shot Americus police officer Nick Smar and gravely wounded Georgia Southwestern safety officer Jody Smith when the officers responded to a domestic dispute Wednesday morning at an apartment complex. Now, there you just saw the poster with the suspect's picture, and of course there was an increased in terms of reward, a $70,000 reward offered this morning. It had been up to $50,000, but it increased, and we're not sure if that, played a role in terms of finding the suspect. Yeah, $30,000 this morning. It jumped up to $40,000 later on, and then $50,000, and then up to $70,000. A lot of money on the table. Police hoping that tips would lead them to this suspect right now. WALB News 10's Amanda Hoskins is live right now. She is on MLK Boulevard. We're learning a lot of late-breaking information. Amanda, what are they telling you right now on the scene?
Well, I can tell you just a minute ago, I talked with Americus Police Chief Mark Scott, and I did ask him, I said, is the suspect dead? He says a suspect is deceased. I asked if it was this man that they believe, the manhunt has been going on for, and he says they have not confirmed that it is his body, but they believe he is deceased. They have not said yet if they shot him or if this was a suicide attempt. Now, we did just learn that there will be a press conference at 1 p.m., so we will be getting more information shortly, but we have also learned that there will be a funeral procession, and we do have another WALB camera out there to see kind of what's going on with that. But again, I did just talk with the police chief, and he did confirm that there is a deceased suspect.
And we have, thanks so much, Amanda. We have received confirmation that he is deceased. 32-year-old Minquel Limbrick was being sought by several agencies in Americus, including federal authorities, but we are just receiving word that he is deceased.
Now, if we can go to some of the video of the scene there at Allen and MLK just a short time ago, believe that police responded to the scene around 10:30 this morning. This is a live picture that you're seeing now, and this is the recorded video of around 11 o'clock this morning. You see that heavy police presence there at Allen and MLK. The first initial reports we received was that Minquel Limbrick was barricaded inside a home there. And we noticed that several of the law enforcement officers were removing people from their home. More than 300 law enforcement officers, as you mentioned, Carla, at the local, state, and federal level, were taking part in this manhunt to track down this suspected cop killer. And they were very concerned about the safety of the officers, the safety of the public, and what might happen when this man was cornered. We don't know if it was inside a home there on this street, but from what we've been able to gather here within the past few minutes, either when police arrived sometime before or sometime after, Minquel Limbrick was shot, whether that was, as Amanda said, a self-inflicted gunshot wound or whether he was shot in some sort of crossfire. We don't know, but there is no active scene there. It seems that police have backed away from Allen and MLK, and we're even hearing word of what they're calling a funeral procession.
Amanda is standing by again, and she's got another update for us.
All right, guys, so yeah, you did hear right, that funeral procession. Phyllis Banks, and she's the public information officer for the Albany Police Department. She did come out to the street and told me, she said, look, there's going to be a press conference at 1. There's not anything I can tell you at this time except that there will be a funeral procession, and that is happening now somewhere else. We do have a WALB camera there so that we will show that to you when we get that. But as you can see, this is pretty crazy right now. People have been lined up across the street. It looks like some people kind of went into their homes after this happened, but all of the officers did come out and have been standing along so that nobody can get back here into this neighborhood. This is what you're looking at right now, and we did hear from the Americus Police Chief Mark Scott that a suspect is dead, and I asked him, was it Minquel Limbrick, and he says we have not yet identified the body, but it is believed that it was him, and we'll know a lot more information coming up at 1 o'clock. But again, where we were down the street, on Allen Street that was blocked off for about an hour. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened when we first got there. So when we arrived on scene, SWAT team officers were getting out. They were all going toward a house, and we were down the street. But at that time, there was no caution, there was no tape up, there was no crime scene tape, nothing. Then we saw them going into the house. After about an hour, maybe, they came out. They were all on the street, starting to take off their gear, and then that's when all the crime scene tape was put up. And that's basically what we're seeing. We've been now at the corner of the street, but this is all happening right now. And again, if you are just tuning in, I did talk with the Americus police chief, and he did confirm that a suspect is dead. If you do want a little bit more about what's happening, yesterday at around 9:30 a.m., 2 officers got a call about a domestic dispute at an apartment complex. So they went to that apartment complex. One officer was with the Americus Police Department. The other officer was a good buddy of his from Georgia Southwestern State University, which was right down the road. So the officers went together to this apartment complex. That's when the suspect came out, and he fired shots, killing that Americus police officer, Nick Smar. The other police officer from Georgia Southwestern State University was also shot. He was airlifted to Macon Hospital, and we have since learned that he's in critical condition. We know that he had a surgery last night. Now, that other officer, Nick Smar, we do know that he was a member of the Americus Police Department since for about a year. He has been a law enforcement officer since 2012. He is well known in this area. He had been a member of the Sumter County Sheriff's Department. So everyone, it's a tough loss for everyone. But again, this manhunt has been going on since late last night through the night. They had continued to look for him. They were thinking that, you know, when the sun came up, they'd get a better idea, and it looks like they have. So again, this is kind of the live look at the scene of what's going on here.
It's been a very active scene there for some time, Amanda, and as you just mentioned, this all started around 9:30 yesterday morning when those 2 officers were shot. Officer Nick Smar, fatally wounded. He was an Americus PD officer. Officer Jody Smith. These 2 were best friends. We're going to have more on that in just a second, but talk about a very fluid situation that we're going through that's unfolding right now in Americus. Again, just to reiterate, we had reported that the suspect, this police shooting suspect, was killed. We cannot confirm that, though.
Right.
This is a very seat-of-your-pants situation where a lot of information is coming in, but we do know that when police responded to that scene there at Allen and MLK, a body was found inside a home.
And from the police chief, he's saying a suspect is dead. Those are his words. Now, you know, talking about the 2 officers, we have found out were very, very close friends. Nicholas Smar and Jody Smith. Emily Forrester is joining us now here in our studio with more about these 2 officers.
That's right, Carla and Cade. We have a Facebook post from the uncle of Officer Nicholas Smar. His name is Michael E. Waters. He posted a heartbreaking story about Officer Smar's death on his Facebook page. Now, Waters says that Officer Smar responded to the domestic call. He approached the front door, and Officer Jody Smith, his best friend, went to the back door of the home. We're told that after Officer Smar pursued the suspect, who has been named as Minquel Limbrick, through the home, as Officer Smar went out the back door, the suspect fired his gun, shooting Officer Smith. Now, Officer Smar's uncle says he then fired half a dozen rounds. He was shot as well. But in the midst of all of this, Officer Nicholas Smar ran to his best friend, Officer Jody Smith, who was injured, rolled him over, and gave Officer Smith CPR as long as he could. Now, we're told that when other officers arrived, Officer Smar had died, and the way that they found him was laid across his best friend. Now, Waters ended this Facebook post saying that Americus police have assured them that more than 300 officers have been involved in this manhunt and that they would not rest until justice has been served in this case. In the studio, Emily Forrester, WALB News 10.
And just such a tragic story there, giving his best friend and the officer who came there to back him up CPR, the officer trying to save Officer Smith's life. Officer Smar died giving his friend CPR. That is just a tragic story coming out of Americus, and the Americus community really rallying behind these officers and their family. And they had actually a prayer meeting last night, and the coming together of the community continues. Melissa Hodges is in our newsroom right now. She's got more on that.
Hi, Carla and Cade. Yes, the Americus community is trying to do what they can to help the families of the fallen officer Nicholas and also Smar and Officer Jody Smith from GSW, who remains in critical condition. And I want to tell all of you at home how you can help these two heroes. You can search Americus and GSW officers on a youcaring.com webpage if you'd like to donate. The page says all of the donations received will be forwarded to the police departments so that the money can be distributed directly to the families. And at last count, just a few moments ago, they've raised a little over $1,079. So far, 25 people have donated, and we're working right now here to have that website on our website, WALB.com. So all of you at home that like to help the families of these two officers, you can do that. Go to WALB.com and make a donation. Reporting from the newsroom, I'm Melissa Hodges.
And as we told you a little bit earlier, his captured this morning, and we are seeing or getting a statement from the police chief that a suspect is dead, but the reward for his capture reached $70,000. When we come back after this break, we'll talk more about his criminal history. He was considered armed and dangerous. Stay with us. And since the top of the hour, we've been following this breaking news out of Americus after we received information that intense manhunt that has been taking place over the last, 24?
It's a little over 24 hours now.
Has come to an end. We think we have not received confirmation that it is the suspect, but the police chief now saying that a suspect is deceased. Amanda Hoskins has been following the story since yesterday. She is in Americus again today, and with the latest, what have you learned recently, Amanda?
Well, guys, I've moved over. Now, this is the street. Down this street, you can see that there has been crime scene tape put up. And just a little while ago, we did talk with the Americus police chief, and he did confirm that a suspect is dead. And I did ask him, was it Minquel Limerick? And he says that the body has not yet been identified, but he believes that it may have been him. We're going to get a little bit more information at a press conference at 1. Now, earlier today, there was another press conference at about 9 o'clock this morning, and we did learn that the officer Smart did have a body cam on him, so they were able to look at the footage. They were able to see kind of what happened before that body camera footage is not yet been released, and it probably won't be from what I'm hearing. But we do know that the officer did fire a shot as well. We do know that, unfortunately, Limerick was able to shoot him first, and he has since passed away. Now, again, this was the scene here just for the past hour. When we first arrived here, the SWAT team was really just getting out, and they were going in toward those houses. Also, what we did see earlier was that an elderly woman, she did walk down this street and was taken into a police car. And that's as far as what we know right now. So I'm going to, guys, throw it back to you. But for now, I'm live in Americus. Amanda Hoskins. Back to you guys at the desk.
And Amanda, we should tell you that within just the past few minutes, we have confirmed from the GBI that the body found inside that home there at Allen and MLK Boulevard in Americus is in fact that of a police shooting suspect Minquel Limerick, 32 years old, the center of a very intense manhunt involving local, state, and federal law enforcement officials. I was at the command center this morning in Americus. They were really going to leave no stone unturned. They were desperate to find this man and hopefully bring this to a very peaceful conclusion, Carla.
Of course, and they were encouraging him to turn himself in. But if you will remember yesterday, he actually recorded a Facebook Live video, I guess right near the time that
shortly
incident
after that shooting
took place. And of course, unfortunately, one of the police officers passed away. He, in this Facebook Live video, sort of set a tone that
it was almost cryptic in a way, but you could tell that he was desperate measures for this man who had a lengthy criminal past.
And that maybe he recognized the fact that he might be killed or might kill himself. We're not sure yet how those circumstances have unfolded. But again, that reward reached $70,000 today. And we were talking about his criminal record. He has, 2 stints in prison?
Yeah, 2 stints in prison, and was currently wanted on a kidnapping warrant out of Americus when those officers were shot. Now, we know that they were called to the apartment, and you're seeing their video from the scene yesterday. This is an apartment complex near the campus of Georgia Southwestern State University where that shooting took place. Officer Nick Smar, Officer Jody Smith responding there to a domestic disturbance. That is where they, police say they encountered Limerick, and soon after There were shots fired. Both officers were struck. Officer Nick Smar died at the scene. Officer Jody Smith was critically wounded. He underwent surgery last night at a hospital in Macon and remains there in critical condition this morning. The Americus community rallying behind them. But more on Limbrick, as we mentioned, a lengthy criminal past. I spoke with the Sumter County Sheriff's Office this morning, Carla, and they gave me a laundry list of charges that this individual had against him just over the past 6 years or so, going back to 2009, ranging from battery to reckless driving.
False imprisonment. He was actually convicted on that, and then interference with government property. He'd also been arrested, as you said, on multiple charges: aggravated stalking, theft by taking, obstruction, reckless driving, battery, and probation violation. Between 2003 and 2012, Limbrick did 2 stints in prison on different convictions there. You're looking at the picture of him. $70,000 was the reward that was being offered for his arrest. I'm sure tips were pouring in from all over. Limbrick also had ties here to Albany. There was some concern that he may be hiding out here. Of course, law enforcement certainly keeping their options open. The FBI involved in this case, the U.S. Marshals, people who specialize, that's their trick of the trade. They're able to find out where these people are hiding. Now, at some point, around 10:30 or so this morning, just to set the scene for you again as to where we are right now. Police were called, and all the law enforcement there, heavily armed law enforcement, SWAT-type officers, called to Allen and MLK Boulevard. They had surrounded a house. At first, we were told that Limbrick was thought to have been barricaded inside a home there. We were watching this unfold live. We had it up on our Facebook page. This is a story that a lot of people have been watching on across
social
the
media.
nation.
They
Across
sure
the
have.
nation.
And they were removing people, and I don't know if the people were in the home with Limbrick, if he was in, or if they were just removing them for their own safety. That's what it appeared. If we can go back to that video from a little earlier, if we can pull that up, guys, just to show you the scene there at Allen and MLK. It was a very active situation, but things died down really, really quick. And you started to see law enforcement sort of retreat from that home. We are understanding, we've just gotten this email, and we will probably have this video for you later today, but we've understood that a hearse has been seen driving away. And we need to mention this: there will be a processional, we believe, for the suspect, not a funeral processional, but a processional near or heading to the Greg Hancock Funeral Chapel, is from what we understand. This processional is going to take place starting at Lamar and Tripp Street, and it is a processional for the deceased. So we are assuming, have not confirmed, that this is, of course, for the suspect. GBI Director Vernon Keenan held a press conference last night, and he urged the suspect here, Miguel Limbrick, to turn himself in. They didn't want this situation to end deadly. They wanted this to end peacefully. So they went in there hoping to take him alive. The question now is how Limbrick, which we have confirmed is dead, how he died. That, of course, will come out later. They will have to do an autopsy before it is confirmed whether or not he took his own life. But you could imagine if there was some sort of shootout that took place, you would still see a very heavy police presence there at Allen and MLK. And it's also not clear how long Limbrick had been dead. Had he been in that home for some time? Did he shoot himself last night? Did he do it as police were closing in? But obviously, it was only a matter of time before they found this guy, especially with that $70,000 reward on his head. And it rapidly increased. We need to take another break. When we come back, we'll head back to Americus, where we'll talk with Amanda. Stay with us. And we are back on this Thursday afternoon. Of course, the intense manhunt that has been taking place over the last 24 or so hours coming to a conclusion, I guess, within the last hour. We're assuming that his fatality took place within the last hour. It could have been earlier this morning. Yeah, we're talking about suspected police shooter Miguel Limbrick, accused of killing one police officer and gravely wounding another yesterday. We're going to go live now to Amanda Hoskins. And Amanda, you are live there now with Sumter County Sheriff Pete Smith to get some more information. Amanda?
Yes, guys, I'm here right now with Sumter County Sheriff Pete Smith. Tell me, how do you feel now that this is over?
I'm relieved.
Yeah.
It's been a long night. So thankful that nobody else get hurt. Tragedy. job. These kind of things happen and you don't expect them to happen. Well, these guys worked for me at one time and they were super guys. They used to get married in January and they were roommates, they lived together. They used to get married and all that. Such a tragedy. Such a tragedy. I just hate these kind of things happen. But I'm relieved that it's over with and nobody else got hurt. It could have been bad.
The department's like a family, and to have two officers that used to work for you guys.
They're really fine men.
They were good friends?
Yes.
And Sheriff, we're hearing they don't have children. Is that correct?
They were not even married. They were going to get married, one in January and one in March. They lived in the same house together. And they had, the city police officer had dealt with this subject the day before in a domestic situation, and that's how they got involved with it. The other officer responded. It's so tragic. We just hate these kind of things happening.
But you're just so glad that it's all ended.
I'm just glad that it's over with. Glad it ended without anybody else getting hurt or killed.
Are you amazed at all of the help that you got from all these other agencies?
Oh yeah. They like family too. They come when you need them. Come to see about you. Come to see about these families, and we had so much community support, food, water, just offering words of encouragement.
All right. Well,
Sheriff, what is your family saying when you were able to come home last night? Did they hug you a little tighter?
I don't remember. I didn't get home.
To have a dry eye after that, a clearly emotional Sheriff Pete Smith there talking about those officers.
And of course, we learned that both of them were engaged.
Both were
we
engaged
knew about
to be
one
married.
of them, but both of them engaged. Of course, we need to head to the funeral home in Americus now. We understand that the suspect's body may be taken there.
Yeah, that's what we understand. This is Greg Hancock Funeral Chapel right now on Southland Road. WALB News 10's Mike Fussell is there. Mike, what's the scene?
That's right. This is where that procession ended earlier today. Essentially what happened was a couple of law enforcement vehicles as well as that hearse pulled into the parking lot here right behind me. And when they got here, they unloaded what looked to be in the shape of a body that was draped in some sort of flag, possibly an American flag. They brought it into the funeral home here behind me and saluted each other and that body as they were doing that. After that, they hugged each other, gave each other pats on the back. Thanks as this is over, and since then they've left the scene, and we'll work to get you more. We've got video of that coming up later. Live in Americus, Mike Fussell, WALB News 10.
Again, some conflicting information there. We believe that Mike is talking about the body of Officer Nick Smar that died yesterday. Just to recap, the suspect here in this manhunt, Miguel Limbrick, accused cop killer Miguel Limbrick, is dead. Barricaded in a home. Police went there. His body was found inside. The manhunt now, this massive manhunt, now over.
And of course, there will be a press conference at 1 WALB. We'll be streaming that, of course, on our website, WALB.com. Also, we will have that press conference on ABC WALB. So we hope you will join us at 1 p.m. To sort of get a finality to everything that has taken place today and to get details confirmed.
Yeah, this all started at 9:30 yesterday morning with Officer Nick Smar and Officer Jody Smith being shot. Officer Nick Smar lost his life in the line of duty. Officer Jody Smith clinging on to life now at a hospital. Our thoughts and prayers with Americus today. Glad this situation is over. And of course, we'll have much more on this story throughout the day here on WALB News 10.